Hello everyone, and welcome back to another market review. This is Silent. We're looking at the NASDAQ September contract for 2025. Again, we have our weekly order block here. Price has traded up, delivered into that weekly wick constant encroachment there. Didn't get much of a follow through like we kind of anticipated for today, but we may see that tomorrow. I'll be interested to see what we do with the remainder of the current wick that we just delivered for the rest of the week. Dropping into the daily chart, we were watching this wick constant encroachment for the past couple days. We wanted to see a delivery through the constant encroachment. After we closed above here, we opened today's candle last night and delivered through the weekly wick constant encroachment, brought down from the higher time frame there. And I also drew this daily wick constant encroachment because it was just above these two relative equal highs from the 4-hour chart that we were looking at. And then we rejected off of those pretty harshly. We didn't really see any willingness to deliver above this high. So we traded back lower and dropped back down into that wick constant encroachment and settled off the low there, just above our weekly order block high. So we just closed just above there. Depending on what we're seeing tomorrow with all the things going on, I'll be measuring half of this wick constant encroachment. If we deliver through that tomorrow or the next day, we'll be still kind of expecting a push on these highs as we go into contract expiration. If not, if we trade up into this wick and then pull back lower, we'll see probably a run over top these lows and trade back into the constant encroachment of our daily sell side imbalance, and then potentially get a rally above the highs we just set in here after the contract changes over. Down into the 4-hour chart. Again, we can watch this candle here going into tomorrow. You can see that kind of delivery up into the daily constant encroachment and rejection from the midpoint of this wick on this candle, and then delivery lower as we close the day there. Traded back under these relative equal lows and into that wick. Depending on how we trade tomorrow, main focus is going to be to see if price respects the constant encroachment of this buy-side imbalance and reclaim it, or if we reject it and start eating back into this daily SIBI. This would probably be my target, as well as this buy-side imbalance here. We can probably fill that tomorrow if we reject the CE there. Jumping down to the hourly chart, we see a nice respect to that daily constant encroachment wick, and with no candle closures above it. Strong rejection here through the midpoint of this order block, and kind of a failure swing here. So we attempted to trade higher after testing this level, and delivery above failed in this candle and traded back below that candle on the very next open. Market structure shift and delivery back into the daily wick constant encroachment, which is this red level here. Just missed that those bodies there, but delivered into the daily SIBI. The 15-minute chart here, we opened in Asia range here. Midnight open, rallied, going into London, kind of did a stage of retracement into the new day opening gap, delivery above, market structure shift higher, filled that imbalance, and had a strong delivery with the news, rejected our daily wick constant encroachment, and sold off, market structure shift here with a ICT Venom model here. We come up with a buy side imbalance and sink lower with the sell side imbalance. The only thing cleaner would have been if we respected that constant encroachment a little bit better with the bodies. But very nice clean delivery here and a high resistance liquidity run to the downside. Just missed that imbalance. Did an institutional overflow entry drill on this imbalance. Traded below the new day opening gap and respected it here and sank it down into yesterday's range, as well as that, again, the daily wick constant encroachment. And as we settled on the day, we traded back up into the new day opening gap and kind of sold off from there. Depending on this open, we may deliver into the new day opening gap. Again, my main focus is seeing what happens with the higher time frame buy side imbalance. Dropping down to the 5-minute chart, we drop down in London, shift here, imbalance, trade up into that and sold off into our new day opening gap, reaccumulated here, rallied with kind of a small grind up, and then suddenly it wakes up in the pre-market and completes a shift of structure to the upside, trades up, and then sinks lower, just taking out that short-term low and getting a redelivery into this unfilled imbalance. Right up on the news, we trade high into our daily wick. Does a delivery down into this imbalance created on the news. We take a short-term high as well as rejection blocks here. Reject the daily wick constant encroachment 3 times, and then we began to trade up into our sell side imbalance here that we noted was more than halfway closed below the buy side imbalance. And then we began to produce a very wicky delivery here. There's a large wicks on either side of every candle, so it's kind of telling you to watch out and be careful if you are logging into this. It also tells you to stay out until a more significant delivery happens in your underlying direction, and then we get that with this displacement below this low. Trading through the undelivered imbalance, and then does a retracement going into lunch, retesting that SIBI and completely covering over that imbalance created during the shift. Then we start trading softer, going into the open of the afternoon, does a shift here with an imbalance and trades into the new day opening gap, does a retracement again, taking out that short-term high, and filling up that imbalance, and does a retest of this buy side imbalance here. This retest and then respect of the constant encroachment of this wick is telling you that this is still a sell, and then look at the respect of the imbalance as it is being reclaimed. Even though we trade above half of it and close above half of it, we're getting indicators that this is going to be a sell-off because of these candles. Note the delivery through half of this candle with a closure below, and then finally retesting the sell side imbalance here one more time before sinking lower, creating another imbalance right at the low. Spends time in that imbalance that was created and respects the midpoint constant encroachment level, and then sinks below the new day opening gap while retesting up close candles here and strong delivery at lower, continuously retesting up close candles here with imbalances, and then finally that target we're anticipating. And then toward the end of the day we come off that low, this down close candle and this down close candle here. Note those. This is a propulsion candle because it's in close proximity. You're expecting a retracement going to the end of the day, creates an imbalance, respects the up close candle main threshold with this delivery here, testing that, trading higher into the new day opening gap before settling on the close of the day. And again, we'll see a 1 minute chart with our 5 minute levels transposed. Strong delivery of that 8:30 open, but notice the respect of this wick, constant encroachment there, and then no high is created higher than this on this delivery. Sells off, does a shift, and then the pullback before the open at 9:30 just takes out the short-term high, preserving this. Strong delivery right at the open. Consolidation. A lot of consolidation while delivering this profile today. And then just sells off continuously. That's all I wanted to bring attention to on the 1 minute chart. That'll be it for me today. Hopefully you had something speak to you. Hopefully you learned something insightful. I'll see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you learned anything. I'll see you later.